over here tapping in with KWJT, Puget Sound from space. I'm over here with Corey. You're tapping in with Tavares and sliding with Solana. That's crazy. We haven't had an interview in so long. I forgot the button. That's crazy. KWJT, we're here back at it again. Man, this is an amazing time. You know, we love pod days. So two things. You know, I love to start the show off with a whole lot of love and appreciation for the groovers at home who's been tapping in with our recent episodes. Thank you. If you're watching right now, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Two, special shout out. Thank you, Tranquil Forest, for always holding it down today. Or, you know, in pods in general. We got some exclusive strains today, so cool as shit. And without a further ado, I would love to introduce this week's guest. We got Cisko up in the motherfucking building.
It's poppin'.
Come on. Damn, I'm kind of rusty, babe.
It's a little bit. Just a little bit. It's good, though. It's good. There was enough podcasts today, so by the end of them, you're like...
I'm back at it. It's going to be good.
It's cool. It makes me feel comfortable. Makes me feel rusty.
I always like to start, how are you today?
I'm good. I can't complain.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So I have like a fuck ton of questions just because... just doing my research just on you and then just like meeting you and like knowing people who know you. So this is like really exciting for me personally. I do want to start off where I first met you at Can't Blame the Youth.
Okay.
So I randomly walked in because I knew Biba worked there.
Right.
Saw him and then I came in like another day and then you were working.
Right.
And I thought you were an asshole. I was like,
you're correct.
I was like, we had this cool exchange. You showed me this hoodie, like whatever, and then I think I saw you either that week or like really recently after that,
right,
in Mario's.
Yeah, and
there was like I think we made eye contact, and then it was just like you went and saw your homies and kicked it.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn, I just saw this nigga like 2 days ago. Like, I know we ain't friends, but like, he just showed me the hoodie. Like, he could have like, gave me the head nod or nothing.
Yeah,
like,
or just something.
I was probably like, man, who?
I was like, fuck.
Bro, straight up, I was probably...
Weird guy. How did he know I was at Mario's?
Honestly, that's how my, like, a weird part of my brain thinks like that. I was on mushrooms a lot when I was working there. So, like, I probably didn't remember selling you the hoodie. Just being real.
No, that's cool. Because, like, I feel like the first time I really, like, we really exchanged and we really, like, got to kick it was at the Tiki.
Oh, yeah, for the Tranquil.
Yeah,
for that shoot. Yeah.
And that kind of changed, that wholeheartedly changed my perspective.
Wow. Bonita is so bold today.
Phil, you can feel free to push her off if she's ever too
it's
much
all
on
good. This happens with animals. They just naturally come to me. The dog was fucking with me. The cat's probably going to kick it like the whole time here.
That's love.
Smoking.
But just getting to kick it with you and just like, even in that small passing, just to get like more of who you were and like what you were actually about, made me really fall in love with your brand. Cause I was like heavy on Fester. I never correlated the two. So I was like shopping there hella, like I was going to Can't Blame the Youth just to buy Fester at one point.
Thank you.
And, to know that the guy originally was like not fucking with was like I was like I love his fucking work was like dope to me, just to have that full circle moment. But I just thought I'd share that with you just because I was like, man, like Cisko is hella cool. But like when I first met him, I remember being in the bar, like telling Son, I was like, that guy's an asshole. Like, I swear to God, I just saw him.
You're right. You want to know something really funny? I had a very similar exchange with the dude who owns Flying Coffin. So he used to work at Goods the same way I worked at Can't Blame the Youth.
Yeah.
I would go in there. I didn't know who the fuck Jason was.
Yeah.
He was just the fucking dickhead who worked at Goods who would literally not talk to me. He wouldn't say shit to me ever. I'd walk in there. Can I get this size? Do you have these pair of shoes? Wouldn't say shit, go in the back, get it, and then like basically throw it on the counter.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And then, years later, he's the owner, a part owner, or was a part owner of CBTY. And, we're friends.
Yeah, get to kick it with them. Really like, oh, like you're an asshole, but you're my kind of
you're
like
my kind of asshole. Yeah, like I fuck with you. Yeah, no, it was hella funny because like I tell people all the time, like for the first, 4 or 5 years of me and his relationship, he didn't say anything to me. He just fucking, he would be reading something. And he just always just kind of like slam it down and just fucking just go in the back.
Fuck, what is this guy?
Fucking kid. Then I found out he was running flying coffin. I was like, this guy's amazing. It was just like, he's a dick, but he's great.
Please re-release, Jason, if you see this, please re-release that embroidered fucking the OG flying coffin hoodie. I can't find it nowhere. I need one. All the older homies had one back in the day. I fucking need one.
You talking about the little death head?
Yeah, and then the back hit.
Yeah.
I was like, I went on the website. I was like, why is this nigga not really selling them? And then there's the new mock-up of it. And I'm just like, the new mock-up is cool. I want the OG though. Yeah. Because all of you guys had the OG and was really like in the OG one. I was like, fuck. Never had it. Like that and OG Alive and Well is like, I feel like you guys really stamped that for me, and just like your guys' presence on the, even before I knew what I was really absorbing, just seeing it on the hill and just like at 35th and just like not realizing, like I thought they were like an international brand at the time, and not knowing it was like the homies from like here,
down the street. Yeah,
so like
down the street from 35th.
For me, it was just like you guys stamped it in a way that it was like our supreme. So I thought that was like really impactful, just on me as an individual. Because like even today, I'm like, I still buy Alive and Well just because of you guys wearing it, and you guys just like almost gatekeeping it, but not really because it's like if you knew, you knew. But it's also like, I'm not just about to tell this little nigga that I don't know where I got my shit from, so I can have a little version of me just walking around like, fuck all that.
No, it's that weird level of gatekeeping that's necessary, right? Like you can't blow it out, but you got
where
exactly. Like, same thing ETC is doing. Like, they're not shy about promoting their brand, telling people who they are, but at the same time, they're not really explaining everything.
Facts.
And that's like the best part of streetwear for me. It's just like, yeah, this is what I am, but like the ethos and all the other shit that kind of goes into like making like a real successful brand, like you kind of have to like tuck that, and like, just keep doing small runs. Like I love the way Umi and P do their shit. Like they're always kind of like on top of everything. Yeah. Especially working with them niggas. I try to collab with them on a couple of things. Them niggas is picky. But yeah.
Before you move on with the with the next one, man, I just want to a moment of congratulations. It's always awesome to sit down and share the stories, and this is a cool moment for me, man. Like I'm new to the streetwear scene and absorbing our fashion, and to have one of many head honchos that started like an awesome era. Because speaking on like that early that time, I wouldn't even call it like the necessary gatekeeping. It's just like, the people who are truly about the streetwear, or like the people who are copying and going to pop-ups and like actually absorbing the brands, like that is the level of effort you should treat any brand that you're a fan of, or like anything that you love, with the same kind of passion like behind it. So that's what created like this, from what I've taken in, like this awesome scene of creators and directors and individuals that are pushing the fashion out here. So fucking hand clap, double hand clap. You gotta let them know. Go ahead, brother.
I kind of want to take it back. Where was your start? Like, where did you fall in love? Because you only recently learning this about you. Like, you do a multitude of like creative things. Yeah. But one of the things I really appreciate, like, you get dressed. Like, you have like a very unique sense of style, and I feel like it's gone through eras of like, no, I'm kind of the best dressed in this the room, but like you're not overtly like, nigga stare at me. But like even when we pulled up in like Tacoma, like you had a fit on, but it wasn't like
what was I wearing?
I don't know. You had like short.
Oh, that
like,
was just for the dad thing.
Shaka Bros.
Yeah, I was just like, but it wasn't like overtly. It wasn't like a flashy fit. But I was like, oh, Cisko got a fit on. Like I'm just like, this is how I want to dress. So like for me, it's like when people give me that feeling of like, oh, I gotta like tap into that, or I just gotta figure out how to like stay that fashionable and being this tall.
Nigga, you tall.
Exactly. But like you got like, you know, you got proportion, like you know how to dress for a nigga that's tall.
Word.
So like where did getting dressed come for you?
Honestly, it came from like my dad and my grandfather. My grandfather is pushing 90. He's like gonna be 88 in July. The nigga still wears suits. Like I pulled up on him on Sunday. It was my grandmother's birthday. The nigga had on a 2-piece, and he always wore his red suspenders. He's like my entire life. Never wore a belt, always red suspenders. And his grandfather wore red suspenders before him. So it's kind of like a little tradition. So that's probably like initially where fashion started for me, because my dad dressed well when I was a kid. You know, he was a 90s, late 80s dad. So he had all the little sweatsuits and shit like that. Like gold chains, fucking Nikes, Reeboks, like all that shit. So, you know, as a little kid, and, you know, I grew up on Mercer Island, but I have family in the Central District and like all over South Seattle. So I was always coming over here, going to barbecues, birthdays, whatever. So like, you know, when I'm at home on the island, when I was a little kid, I'm at home or I'm at my friend's house. Like I didn't really go anywhere. I go to the grocery store and shit, ride my bike around the neighborhood, but I'm not like really absorbing that culture, because like, that's not what I was being exposed to. So I'm coming to church and then, you know, going to my uncle's house, going to my cousin's house, and like seeing how my uncle's cousins and all like people around the neighborhood, especially in the CD at that time in the 90s, like going to get my hair cut at Jackson Square, like before they, you know, obviously all that shit changed. Seeing niggas with finger waves and like big robes and fucking gold teeth pulling up in 5.0s and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? As a little kid, that shit change you, especially like when you're a little black kid. Yeah. And, you know, I realized when I'm 5 or 6, like, I live around a bunch of white people. I'm not white. Yeah. I'm around a bunch of black people. I like the way this shit looking over here. Niggas got it popping. So, you know, taking a lot from the Central District, because like a lot of the way I wear my shit is like how kids would still wear their shit in the CD. Like today I fucked up and I wore the wrong shirt. I got fucking cat hair all over me right now. But usually I wear like a longer tee. And that just comes from niggas wearing North Faces and cinching them at the bottom and having the tall tee on them with like the baggy pants and shit like that. So like that was a style that I still emulate a lot. Obviously I got a Gore-Tex jacket with me right now, but, you know, I don't really cinch it out the bottom anymore, but it's still like a smaller jacket, you know, under a larger hoodie and like a longer shirt, baggier shirt. So a lot of the things that like I do is shit that I picked up by just like hooping, being around the city, seeing other niggas. And then like, obviously, you know, I grew up in like late 90s, early 2000s. So shit was nuts for fashion.
Exactly. In the elite era.
The golden era. To me, the golden era.
Right. To y'all.
I agree.
No, like I like.
That's when we were middle schoolers around that era.
Right.
And like we still had the remnants of the community, you know. They were still like, people weren't being displaced yet. And,
right.
And like, fuck, that was just an amazing time just to be like, you know, we're not really knowledgeable. We don't really understand the depths of the community, but we're outside. Like, we're outside seeing, like, the elite fit you were just talking about. the good 501s with a big white tee. You know, it has to be Pro Club. Yeah. And then a North Face to rock with it, you know?
Yeah. So, I always went against the grain on the Pro Club shit because niggas was doing the AAAs and the Pro Clubs. I like the Kirkland tees.
Oh, that's
an elite tee.
That's another amazing
elite tee.
I was on Kirkland tees early, and niggas was like, "Ew, you bougie." And I was like,
No.
Your shit looks like trash after 3 washes, my nigga. You gotta go to the store and get another one."
That Kirkland tee is gonna get you
The
right.
Kirkland packs.
You know, it's gonna get you right.
I still buy a Kirkland pack. My wife be fighting me about the Kirkland pack. You're like, nigga, you have so many black t-shirts. You need no more black t-shirts.
I need more, actually.
I need more.
I always
it's
need
about to be summer. Actually, I don't have enough to run up in these.
Like last year's black tee.
That's what I'm saying. Do you not see how ashy this shit is?
It's definitely under a T now. Like, nah, that's
exactly
never to be seen again.
So I said this shit about the early 2000s because I used to match everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, or I would try, you know what I mean, to the best of my ability. And, you know, growing up on Mercer Island and seeing like a lot of wealth, and I'm not from a very rich family, like at all. Like my family's like middle class,
Yeah.
like flatline.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But growing up around kids that had dough, you start to figure out different brands and shit like that. So I got exposed to sevens, and I knew what sevens were when like Jim Jones and them started popping out wearing them, and I was already racking them from alleged department stores there. So like I would do that shit and come over here, and niggas would bug out on them because they're like $150 jeans. Niggas ain't wearing $150 jeans
Not at
and
all.
shit like that, and like.
Especially not in that era unless you was a rapper.
Nah, or unless you were selling dope. And like I never did that in high school. My thing was just like stealing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was just way easier for me because all my friends sold weed. So I kick it with 7 niggas who sell weed. How am I gonna be the 8th nigga selling weed?
Exactly. I got jeans though. Hey, I got jeans for these niggas. They everybody got $150 jeans. You know?
But they need to spend their money on something, right?
Exactly.
So like, you know, me and the homies would, you know, go get North Faces and do shit like that, sevens and all that crazy shit. But, you know, I would, when you steal things, it's hard to match.
Facts. You're stealing off what I could get out of here.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you might take some shit that you kind of like, but you're not really fucking with. And it's kind of hard to get the, like, all black ones. So, like, you know, that's why I wear like a lot of black now. Is because like I just got super sick of it in my like later teens. I was just like, fuck it, bro. I'm so sick of trying to match like shoes to a jacket, and I got like whole sets of fits. But like if something's dirty or I wore it with something else and I can't wear it, and I'm just, you know, I don't got the patience for it. Like somebody who I admire in the way they dress is Thad.
Facts.
Thad to me is like one of the most meticulously dressed individuals I've ever met in my entire fucking life. And like watching him put a fit together is really like a form of art. Like that nigga needs to be a stylist or some shit. But like with me, I'm like on a completely different type of time. Like when I started working out Alive and Well, I was really committed to switching like everything in my wardrobe over to being like black, white, gray, neutral tones, earth tones, navy blue. That's about it. Maybe a couple pops of red, but that's about it. Because like I don't like thinking when I get up to get dressed. I really hate it at this point. Like I spent time like, especially like going to Mercer Island High School, and I got a whole fit on.
Yeah, no one else.
Nobody notices. Nobody fucking cares. I'm trying to like shock these new BBC ice creams, and niggas is just like, why you have beepers on your shoes?
Exactly. And you're like, you dumbass bitch.
Did you not see the Clips video? And they're just like, who are you talking about? Yeah, just
I'm
like
going to the CD. This is gonna fucking kill niggas.
Bro, I can't even take them to the CD. I'm worried niggas is gonna strip me for it.
Exactly. Like
I can't be outside.
Where I need to stunt, I can't stunt.
I can't even go out there with
Fuck you guys.
Bro, I remember I went to Franklin's Twin Tolo when I was like a sophomore in high school. This shit was popping before camera phones. Nigga, shit was really out of pocket. And like I remember I had a whole fit on, and I remember walking in there, and then like niggas had the real Michelin S. And I don't remember what I was wearing. I was wearing some bullshit, like, because clearly, like, at this point, I think I had, like, on some stupid collared shirt trying to be, like, Jay-Z or some shit like that. You know, niggas was switching over.
Yeah.
And I remember niggas wearing the real Michelin S. Niggas having, like, J's that, like, I had only really heard about or seen in Slam Magazine and not been able to, like, purchase or whatever, but never really seen them. And just, you know what I mean? Just seeing a whole different side of fashion, you know, in both sets of my lives on a consistent basis definitely helped. Because, like, I would see the preppy shit at Mercer Island, and I would you know, by the time we were in high school, bitches had real bags.
Yeah.
So bitches were showing up to school with Louis, YSL, Tory Burch. You know what I'm saying? If you was a broke bitch, you had a Coach bag. No, it's not a joke. I'm serious.
No. It's just like I'm imagining the Coach bag that they all have.
Yeah, the exact same with the cream handle.
Yes.
Yeah, it just looks like a fucking fake Burberry. And then the bitch with the real Burberry will pull up on you at lunch. You gotta tuck your shit.
Put the shit on the side.
Yeah, you just see wild shit like that, and then like, you know, hanging out with some of my parents, seeing polo, different polo, like Purple Label polo. Like,
yeah.
I remember seeing Purple Label and being like, what is this? Because it didn't have a horse on it.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? I know polo. I have polo. I love polo.
Yeah.
The fuck is this? And he was just like, oh, it's polo. And it's different, kid. You'll understand one day. But like being able to like meld those two things definitely like melds my fashion now. Like I'm wearing Merrells. Bro, like I really kind of like stopped fucking with Nikes after like I can't buy the Nikes I want.
Yeah.
So like I kind of like looked at, you know, what are the white boys doing? That's kind of steezy. Oh, they figured out these little weird hiking shoes, these Hokas and Merrells and all these little weird brands. You know, they're kind of making some cool silhouettes. So
no, the shoes you got on are fire, and the Gore-Tex, like they get the Gore-Tex looks as well. So you could find a fire one that you could wear here in the rain and just thug them out. And nigga like me was like, what the fuck? Like I was like, I didn't see the check, and I was like, kind of just staring at him, and I saw the M, and I was like, all right, it's definitely like. I took notice, like, all right, well, the pot is over. I'm definitely got to ask about the sneakers because I'm like, they're fire. And they're like, the one thing I love is like, I'm not going to see them on anybody else. So you're still in a rarity spot of giving the flavor of like, nah, we don't dress the same still.
Yeah. Even
though I have all black on. Even though these are like, it's the same color blocking, but we're still not looking at the same ballpark. I'm still looking at shit that you aren't even looking at or looking past because of this weird white boy brand.
Hell yeah.
So I think that is fire.
Thank you.
I wanted to touch on just really quickly. You did a tattoo on Thad.
I didn't do the tattoo. I drew the tattoo.
Okay.
I needed the backstory to tattoo. That. Okay, so Nacho had a show in Bellingham.
Yeah.
And I was working at Alive and Well. It was like a Friday. And DV1, Jay Moore, and Marcus Lolario came in. And I think they either asked me or I told them that I was going to go up to Bellingham with them because Marcus had just started managing Jess. Excuse me, Nacho. Just started managing Nacho. Thad was opening for him. I think Cam the Mac was going up there too. I don't know if Gab was with us or not, but it was like in the car. It was me, DV1, Jay Moore, Marcus.
That's a fire. That's like that is a like if the viewers at home don't know like the list of that like that van ride, that's like that's literally or whatever vehicle.
I think it was. I really wanted to say it was DV's 7 Series.
So like that car ride is like a lot of the reason you niggas get to come outside. Just basis off like the show environment and just that collection of group. I just wanted to touch on that just because.
R.I.P.
Like,
Jay Moore. Also, by the way,
R.I.P.
Jay Moore. I like this.
Damn, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut it off.
No, you
like,
cool.
It's
funny you asked me about that story because the story is hella funny. This is like how old are y'all?
I'm turning 25.
Yeah, we'll be 25 this summer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm probably like a little bit younger than y'all, probably like 23.
Yep.
I've been working there for probably 6 to 8 months. So, like, that means, like, I've known all of these guys, like, 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
I knew George Otto.
Yeah.
Who was managing Live Well. I knew George at that point for a really long time. I've known George probably since I was, like, 16.
Mm. Damn.
So, I've kicked it with Marcus. Clearly, we've been out partying. I met him at HG Lodge.
Yeah.
The first time. And, I'm going to move this motherfucking thing. But like I'd never been in a car ride with these niggas for like 2 hours, bro.
Yeah.
Like we're going to Bellingham.
Exactly.
It's not close. So these are all like my new big homies, but like I don't really know these niggas like that. So it was, you know, kind of awkward. I'm still drinking, you know what I mean? So I'm making jokes and trying to like laugh, and they're hella funny. So we have a good time on the way up there.
Yeah.
So we pull up and sound check, you know, regular shit. Everybody does their sound check. So then we're hanging out in downtown Bellingham, and we got like 3 or 4 hours to kill. So I'm already been getting tattooed.
Yeah.
I've been getting tattooed from the BTM homies for like a couple months. And me and Thad have been kicking it for, you know, a minute at this point. Oh, shit, I knocked my cherry out.
Oh, the recovery.
Let's see if I got it.
Seriously killing it. Anytime you see a Groovy Tapes fuck up, is definitely Tavares behind it.
Nah.
But
That's
please
fine.
continue on.
So yeah, we were driving up there, did sound check, so now we got time to kill before the actual show and call time and all that shit. So I can't remember what the name of the venue is. It's that there's only like one on that strip of downtown Bellingham, but there's a tattoo shop up the street from it. So Thad had been asking me to draw him a tattoo, I think, or I said I was. But either way, like I think I had it on my phone, and I sent it to dude, and he just drew it up, and he got it tattooed on him. What the fuck did I get that day? I got something. I don't remember what it was.
Start looking at all of them.
It was on my arm. I don't remember what tattoo it was exactly, but I got.
Got a few.
I got a lot of tattoos, but I got one tattoo that day. I think Jess got one that day. I think Cam got one that day. We just had time to kill, and then you know they did the show, and then on the way back, it was me, DV1, Jay Moore, and Marcus because I had to work the next day, and Marcus is my boss, so you know I can't exactly just be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna just spend the night up here,
Facts.
figure out how to get home in the morning. And he was basically, I remember after the show is over, he was just kind of like, you know, you can kick it, but you got to be down there tomorrow. This is your last ride. What do you think you should do? And I was just kind of like, I'm going to get in the car. But I'm really glad that I did because I got to spend a lot of time with, or I got to spend time with Jay Moore and DV and Marcus in a capacity that, you know, A, I can't really do anymore. B, you know, like I can't ever go back to that time in my life, and like they were all kind of in transitional periods.
Yeah.
And it was cool to get a lot of game from them and like hear them talk about shit and like get that perspective on shit. You know what I'm saying? And like that 2 hour car ride, you know, you can't do nothing but talk. And them niggas is kind of keyed up. They've been up.
Yeah.
Jay got Upe, so he got to get home. DV, I'm sure had some white girl that was begging him to come over.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Marcus was doing, but he probably had something to do. But you know, yeah, that's how Thad got that tattoo.
No, that's fire. Cause like, I feel like the one thing I really miss about Washington that obviously was still existent on that level of just like those rarity of like hodgepodge moments that like most of the people that had a bunch of shit going on in the city all still fucked with each other and still like looped it back in. Not to say that it doesn't happen today, but it was such like a nucleus of like, you could see the evidence of all of you today in like the monumental strides that were made from moments like that of just all of you just kind of clicking up and kicking it and just like creating that like foundation that led into like all the creative shit that we get to like, that we ourselves get to be a part of and add to now. But it's just, for me, I felt like just hearing that story of just like, all of like you guys are all the big homies to me as an individual. Like you guys are like our OGs in this space just because you've seeing it like at its highs and at its lows, and at like this point you guys are all like older where it's like it's not as fun for you guys anymore, but like because you've done it all, like you've done it all when it was actually like I would say you did it all when the city was still in that weird like there's not as many rules, so you can kind of like take over a lot of these spaces, and like a lot of the creative stores were a lot of the people who were still going out into the scene and these things. And in some versions, it's a little disconnected than what I've heard it was then, just because all of you would like, if you're shopping at Goods, more than likely I'm going to see you on the Hill tonight, or we're going to the show tonight. Or like, there's this like here to here to here kind of like energy that was like in the town. Which I think is really cool because like moments like those get created where dad gets a tattoo, but it's like with like our A-lister, you know, it's like with the top tier of like niggas today. So for me, it's just like one of those moments that are just like, probably then it was just like, I was going to the show, like I got off work, I was going to the show regardless, but me like 10 years later, it's like, fuck, like that's an amazing ass car ride. And that's a top tier list of like this city's like culture and like our core community. And I know it's like
no, I really appreciate you saying that. It means a lot that you say that. It's just always funny because it's just like me hanging out with my friends.
Exactly.
And like, you know, I still go see Nacho in LA all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's my nigga. Like when I go to LA, I want to stay at his house because like I'm comfortable there. Unless it's like me and the wife, and then we'll get a hotel room or something like that. But I'll sleep on that nigga's couch because he's the homie, and like he's super lazy, and it's way easier for me to just be. I shouldn't say lazy. He's just very particular with his time.
Yeah.
And like if you're not around him, you got to catch him whenever you're gonna catch him.
Yeah.
So 95% of the time now it's at the gym, but you know just all the wild shit like that era that you're talking about is. That was just us kicking it.
Yeah.
You know? And like, it was a lot better because it wasn't necessarily that people were working together. It was that people were just kind of doing stuff at the same time. And people did also work together. There's a lot more of what felt like a community around, you know, having a brand and promoting a night and like investing and stuff like that. And obviously the last 2 years have kind of fucked with all of that shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like it could come back. It's also people from the city doing things in the city. Yeah. And that's like another piece of it that's like kind of missing. That's why I fuck with Al Four so heavy because those are all my guys. Like Malcolm used to come into Alive and Well. Nigga, like it used to be the reverse. Obviously I wasn't the owner of Alive and Well, but you know, just seeing him from then to now and just all the shit we've been through, not like we've been through like hella crazy shit, but just kicking it on the hill.
Yeah.
Being out, going down to fucking Barboza, niggas is coked out and like he's in there with fucking Nacho and Gab and Jarv or whatever, and then we just kick it till like 3 o'clock in the morning and go home.
Yeah.
Or just having like all the parties at 95. And like that shit was special. Like I don't try and pretend like that's something that's like easily replicatable. Like that era in time, like I look back on it like with a lot of fondness because it was special, and like I'm not sure if something like that will ever truly happen again on the same scale. But you know, we were just trying to
you were just kicking it, like
we were just kicking it, and like all the crazy shit that happened, like there's so much shit that like. If I start talking about out of context, it's going to sound crazy. But it's just really funny shit between people. We're still here.
Yeah.
And, you know, just looking back and thinking about all the situations and, like, going out and, like, you know, the first time you meet somebody or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this certain other situation that happened. And, like, it happened in between, like, a block radius. Like, all the shit that happened on the hill. Like that whole area of the hill that I'm sure you guys were just thinking about and trying to go out and like see and interact in, like it was fun, bro. But like, I'm glad that shit's over because that shit can't last.
No, I feel like what you guys did imprinted into the scene. Like whether like it definitely has evolved. Like just Washington getting so much bigger, it has changed, and we've like, I feel like the people that are my age doing shit now or a little older doing shit now have taken that era's spirit and figured out like, okay, how do we do all this shit where we don't own any of the shit anymore, or not all the homies are in those spots where you could just kind of like.
And see, that's what you could do. Also, is you could just slide on niggas because managers, like certain managers in certain spots, were a little bit more receptive to certain things. A lot of things changed business, like changed ownership in like the last like 5 to 6 years. A lot of spots on the hill, like Comet used to be a fucking piece of shit. Like I would go into Comet to do coke and be alone because that's the bar that you did it at. Yeah. Or like go upstairs to like the little loft area. Get it popping up there. But like before Lost Lake and all that other shit, like Comet was not, you know,
what it was today.
Nah, the 20-year-old fucking kick it hangout. I mean, it could turn into that, but it's gonna be a bunch of crust punks, skaters, and people who work on the hill, and like that neighborhood changing over has kind of like obviously put a damper on the party scene. And you know, watching everybody else try and like do something similar, or all like kind of like the party scene, like, you know what I'm saying, the club scene out here, like now it's interesting because everyone's had a 2-year break, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, watching like who's coming out with what kind of platform, and like the rebrand of fucking Baltic Room and like how that's going, like no shade to them niggas, they got people in there.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know. We were talking about The Hill Was Dead in like 2015. So like, is it or is it not? And like, it doesn't look like it really is. But at the same time, like, you can't get Numos and Barboza popping like it was.
It's really interesting.
Casey does when she does her shit down there. But, you know.
Yeah. From just the outside looking in, you know, to not be able to grasp The Hill at the time of its era, like you said, 2015. That's the year I graduated from high school. So it's like, but just hearing like all the legendary things that were happening on the hill, the culture that was being pushed, and you get there and it's sort of like at a standstill. It's a split, definitely. If we're talking about right now and how like the people who actually make things move in Seattle, the city, and what they want to do with Capitol Hill, you see what they're doing. I love what they're trying to encapsulate from like an identity perspective. Yes, it's acceptive of everyone, but you can't say that and then like outlaw the black and brown communities, or at least just the marginalized communities there that went there and made it poppin'. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's crazy to see because you're only allowed in a few spots.
You're only allowed in a few spots, and then like the formatting for parties is skewed so heavily away from like something that we would enjoy listening to or what we had going on in 95. And that was why 95 could exist the way it did, because we would play whatever. Like, Zach plays whatever the fuck he wants. Drew Bird pulls up. He plays whatever he wants. We actually book real DJs from out of town. We book international DJs. Like, and never, not once did we tell them to not play something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now obviously we'd be like, don't play some fucking R. Kelly. But you know what I mean? Like, niggas ain't trying to format a party, and that's what happens a lot on the hill now. And that's why like the parties are the way that they are. That's why the scene is the way that it is, because they're afraid of. And when I say they, I mean like club owners, club managers are afraid of having the wrong crowd and all those different type of stereotypes. Yeah. But like at the same time, when they catch that one off night where a DJ just starts spinning something crazy and niggas get it popping in there, they want that every night. Exactly. But they don't want the risks that come with it. And like, it's always funny to me that they characterize black and brown kids as the ones that like are causing the problems, and then they blame it on the music.
Yeah.
When for like 10 weeks before that, bro, you were making more money than you've ever made.
Exactly.
You have one problem. It's a party. You're serving alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a fucking issue.
Exactly.
At some point. You know
Especially
what I mean?
when no one's really regulating the
Exactly.
the niggas drink. Because
exactly.
we are a state where if you're kind of drunk and the bartender's kind of drunk, you niggas gonna drink.
Bro,
they ain't gonna stop you.
I have niggas from LA come in all the time and they're like, what's the fuck is up with your bartenders? They pour doubles.
Yes.
They pour heavy in Seattle. And like niggas
I don't be mad when I'm out here trying to drink. But
right, but exactly, that's what I'm saying. And like the issue isn't the music. The issue is booze. Serve less booze. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to get down to the root of it, but you're not going to do that because that's your bottom line.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And most of the deals that are done with managers, you're not getting part of the bar. The bar is theirs. You can take the door.
Yeah.
They might even give you 100% of the door to keep you away from the fucking bar.
Exactly.
And also, you know, it encourages you to get people in. But the point is, like, they saw what happened. There's always violence on the hill. You know what I'm saying? But, like, a couple shootings, people start, you know, collectively as businesses trying to, like, change their mind. And that's why, you know.
That's why it won't be what it is.
Yeah, you can't, like, party hop and go, like, 3 cool places.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. I'm not saying that you can't because, like, I don't want to sit here and talk shit.
No, there's, but I would say on, like, a weekend, there's, like, being honest, it's either Mint, Baltic Room, or Q. And I would say that is if you're going club hopping or if you're going for, like, to hear music that you might like or just, like, won't hear the same 200 hits of the decade.
Right.
Those are probably your 2 spaces. But, like, both spaces, you're going to end up waiting in a line that you're probably going to be like, fuck, like, I should just be able to just get in this motherfucker and just go kick it and then get out and go to the other spot. So there's definitely, like, an element of, like, a lost art of it. And I do think there'll be a resurgence just because, like,
for sure,
the Hill is that weird, like, we don't have, I was thinking about this, like, the Hill will always exist as that weird hodgepodge just because Washington doesn't have a real other area. Hella people can just kind of, like, pull up and you can put hella, like, shit that's not really already, like, I was thinking Fremont, but Fremont has that, like it's weirder.
Hard to get to Fremont.
Exactly.
If you're not from here, like,
it's hard as hell.
And that bridge is
right. And, like, I don't know, North End is in North End, but you're kind of right. It is, like, one of the most central neighborhoods to Seattle.
Yeah. So I feel like it would always have that. It'll always find its way to have that resurgence of, like, community just because, like, there's nowhere else, like, real creatives can, like, kick it and, like, kind of focus and energy because I'm just like, we don't have any, like, blocks like that. Because even when I think about where aisle 4 is, there's no way to make that block a new hub just because of how it's structured and how it's built.
There's
it all have to be on one side, which is cool. It can happen, but
it would just be just on geographics. It would just be harder to form a hub in that, like, spot, you know. And the same thing where I kind of think of, like, ETC kind of has one of those, but, like, everybody would have to move to Tacoma. Like, all the shops that exist right there would have to just, like, take over those 2 blocks
out there. But see, the thing that, like, works for ETC and it works for Alive and Well and it kind of worked for CBTY when it was, like, still in Chinatown is that it's not just the location, it's, like, the idea of the brand behind it. And that's what I think is the feeling missing more than anything else. Because, like, I talked to the homies who DJ in LA and, you know, they have brands as parties. And, like, you attach a feeling to the idea that you've already had at that party. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that's missing. And, like, I agree with you geographically, like, trying to form, like, a hub of shops around, like, aisle 4 is not going to happen. It's basically in a residential neighborhood. But, like, the idea of aisle 4, if aisle 4 decides to branch off and start doing, like, some programming or, like, booking DJs, starting a night, doing, like, a fucking showcase, like, somewhere other than that location, like, that's the idea that, like, lasts. And, like, that's the thing that's missing. Like, Bait is a brand, like, if they started doing parties or throwing shit, like they would garner more attention and love in the city.
Yeah.
Like that's how like people want you to give back. Your customer base is like 18 to like 32, let's say, right? So them niggas like, what are you doing? Like after you go here, oh, I'm gonna go home and eat some food. I'm gonna go out. Okay, cool. Well, shit, we got this thing. If you're trying to come, you see how easy it is.
Yeah.
And like, they don't do it. Likelihood don't do it. Who else can I throw under the bus? 35th don't have to do it because they're on skate shit all the time. So they already have an outreach into the community. So that's why they're good. Yeah, I can't really think of any other shops at the moment. But yeah, just the fact that they don't do anything like that. Like Likelihood has like that fucking sale like twice a year, and that's about it.
Yeah.
You know,
there's no Likelihood parties. There's no like there, and it would be fire if they're like, because they have like a fire shop, if they just like threw something in queue where it's like Likelihood's night, or just, you know, those
they
elements.
can do whatever. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I've just been around, so like I see how creative and shit people can get with it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you just rent a spot out, bro. Like there's a members only club like literally around the corner under the old Sizzle Pie.
Oh yeah.
That they could rent out, and it has like this dope ass pink light in there. It looks fucking weird, and like it's definitely more their vibe than Q. If you ever met the two dudes who like own that spot. Like,
I haven't met them, but it makes sense though.
Yeah.
The vibe is similar.
Yeah, no, they're interesting. They run their shop a very interesting way. All
right, I want to switch gears just a little bit, and talk about, you also shoot video.
Yeah.
And how did you get into like the video work and just like designing graphics and reels and just like creating kind of just your own mood boards through video art and things of that nature?
So I actually went to Cornish.
Oh, fire.
In like 2000
That's dope as fuck.
2011 to like 2012. I dropped out. Yeah. That's how I kind of like got started in art, but I'd already been doing it for a while. So when I went to Hampton University first in Virginia.
Oh, fire.
Yeah, that was a very wild ride for like 4 years. Also got kicked out of there. I decided that what I wanted to do with my life was do art, because I already started drawing again in Hampton, and like I've been drawing on and off for most of my life. Always been pretty talented at it. Never really considered it for a career. So I decided to like pursue art and shit like that. While in art school, I got exposed to a lot of different mediums. Yeah. So, you know, it helped me define who I wanted to be with as an artist, because like while I was also going to Cornish, I was working out Alive and Well. So I would go to school in the morning, walk up in the afternoon and go to work, and then at night get wasted, like sleep on the homie's floor, go back to school, or like go back to my mom's like apartment on Mercer Island, go sleep there, take the bus, go back to work. You know what I mean? Just like that revolving door of just like trying, like learning shit and like figuring it. Right, you know what I'm saying? And like it was cool, because like when I wasn't at school, I was like getting, you know, immersed further into like graffiti and like hanging out with my homies who were doing like tattoos on me in their house at the time. So like I picked up a lot of art from them as well. Like a lot of like shit that I use, a lot of the graphics that I use come from like this book that and I'm not going to say the name, but because he told me to kill me. But this book that I saw at his house. Yeah. And I noticed he was getting a lot of ideas out of the book and drawing shit out of it, you know, like a couple of times before that. So I picked it up and I looked at it, and, you know, I had my back towards him. He lived in a big loft in Pioneer Square before they tore down 99. So, like, you could spit on 99 from his house. Like, you could see, like, you know what I mean? Like, whoa. It was
fire. That's insane. That's a imagery right there.
Yeah, it was really dope. He had a really dope spot. Yeah, so I was looking at the book, and he turned me around and grabbed me by my shirt. He was like, "Don't you ever fucking tell anybody about bought this fucking book. I was, you know what I mean? I'm like 22, and he's like probably like early mid 30s.
Yeah,
and, you know, big dude. He's fucking been in and out. So you know, it's just like, oh shit, all right. You still gonna give me a fucking tattoo? Jesus. But you know, learning techniques from school, and then dropping out and I decided to freelance. So that's how I got into a lot of doing like graphic design and shit like that. And I learned early on my shit wasn't like type and layout, so I was really a lot better at logos and doing shit like that. So, you know, I made a little money doing that for people like all over the place. And I started doing video when I noticed that a lot of social media is shifting to that. And I originally got into video just because I would ride the 120 from White Center. This is like, there's an interim period in my life where I didn't work for a streetwear company between like 2016, 17 to like 2018.
Yeah.
And I was living in White Center. So, I would take the 120 into the city every day to like, you know, go to work and shit. 120's turned. It's a crazy ass bus.
Yes.
So like, I would just start recording shit that I would see on the bus every day, nigga. Like every day I would see some shit. Like I remember one time there was this nigga and he was just sitting there, right? Like, and I would always sit on the back of the bus because I'm stoned. I don't really want to talk to nobody, and like hopefully nobody else comes and sits behind me. And you know, he's on the bench across from me. And he's like this, but he's like stacking crazy with his hands, and I'm just like. Is anybody else seeing this?
Oh my gosh.
This nigga is like, it looks like he's asleep. Mouth slack jaw, but like stacking like he's like fucking Doctor Strange. You know what I'm saying? Like just doing crazy shit with his hands, but it looks like it makes sense to him. You know? So I take out my phone and start recording him. And like I get about 10, 15 seconds in, this nigga just snaps out of it. He's just like, put your phone away, nigga. Yeah, I'll find the video. It's so crazy. It's so out of pocket. Like, but you know what I mean? Like shit like that happened like every day. Yeah. I'm on my way to the bus, and I think I was working at the Hotel Sorrento at the time. I was just like washing dishes because I was a complete like degenerate. I'd like just quit drinking. And like I really didn't know how to like function like a normal human being. So like I just took like I had that kitchen job in addition to Alive and Well, and I actually got Marcus fired me. So yeah, because just keeping it.
Yeah, Marcus fired you from Alive and Well while you were working the kitchen job as well.
Yeah, so I basically just had like a breakdown and like drank hella on the job and just like blacked out and did a bunch of like just started crying and doing a bunch of crazy shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it had to happen because if it didn't happen, I would have never quit drinking. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like about a week after that happens, Marcus comes in and like tells me like, all right, you can't really fucking work here no more. Like I've been fucking up for like a year at that point, like consistently fucking up different ways. Like I think probably like a couple weeks before that, 95 had, before they tore it down, the building they built next to it. Actually, I'm not going to tell that story because I don't think it's been 7 years yet. But I've been fucking up for a minute, and he let me go. So I just had this kitchen job, so I would have to ride the bus all the time and to like be there from like, I don't know, middle of the afternoon to like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So I would see wild shit. I would catch the bus back downtown. Plus, I'm catching tags. Like, I want to take pictures of that. You know what I mean? Like, all that other shit, you know? So, it was a lot of fun. But that's how I got started in video, was just doing that shit, seeing wild shit on the street, like, kicking it with the homies, seeing wild shit that they were doing. You know, like, yeah, I can't really tell any of those stories. But
no, but I feel like the videos that you have taken have been just like a big identity of the brand and just kind of just the anarchistness of Washington. I feel like not necessarily the underbelly, but just a side of Washington that we all know is there, but we either shy away from and ignore like it doesn't happen, or condemn. So I feel like you brought it to, I feel like you use the graphics and bring it to light in a way that's like to fuel creativeness, but also be like, hey, this should be really just be happening, because it's like, I feel like if you've lived here long enough, you've seen some like wild like fiend shit more than once. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a part of like the Washington like diaspora, or just like our identity of just like culture here. And it's one of those things that is like, I would say you embrace and utilize in like I feel like a really creative way where you could get a lot of what the fuck else goes on here, you know?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you see like the WTO riots when you're like 10, and like you see like other Mayday riots like every year almost until like a couple years ago. But like you also live in a really beautiful, it's really beautiful here. Like my cousin just came up for my wedding. That was just a little while ago. Yeah. And he's from Arizona, and he'd never really been here like when it was turning like the seasons into spring, where it's, you know, you get a couple nice days. I think it got up to like 60 when he was here. He's like, holy shit, like this is crazy. Like you live in a really beautiful spot. I was like, yeah, nigga, I know. That's why I don't stay here. That's why I don't move. My mom and my brother both live down in Arizona, bro. There's a reason why I'm still up here. I'm not trying to leave this place. And like it's way too fucking hot down there. Exactly. I'd rather be cold than like, I mean, it's like 100 degrees right now.
Disgusting.
Fuck that. Like, that's crazy. Can't walk his dog. Can't do shit. It's fucking hot as shit.
You're either up early or out late.
It's a horrible lifestyle. But yeah, I love like the duplicity of things. Yeah. Washington, like my experience growing up here is like a big part of that. You know, just like even like growing up on Mercer Island, like seeing really beautiful things like houses, homes, possessions, cars, gardening, whatever the fuck. But then like knowing the story behind like the people in those homes and like some of the crazy shit that happens and like some of the crazy shit I did in people's homes. You know what I'm saying? Just wild shit. Like here, I got one. So this kid, right? I went to high school with him. He got a Cadillac CTS, but like the sports package, crazy sports package one. So he had like the Corvette engine and like a CTS. Ooh. Nuts. Absolutely insane. So blacks it out, like 5% tint on every window. Ooh. Every window, including the windshield. Riding in the car at night was the scariest thing I think I've ever done in my life, because you can't see anything. No. It is it was the most insane thing I've ever seen. I don't even know who the fuck allowed him to do it. Like, I have no idea how much money he had to pay to convince somebody to let him fucking do that shit to his windshield, bro. And like, yo, I know this sounds nuts. So it's gonna get crazy. It's insane, right? So he has a car for like a couple months and wraps it around the tree. Walks away, of course. And like he's like, what's a good example? Like just Laguna Beach level crazy rich party white kid, like does wild drugs that nobody has business like doing. So, you know, boom, he wraps his shit. Gets another one. Same one. Yo, no. I know a couple kids that have done that. There was another kid I knew that he has a thing for E55 AMGs, but only like the 01s or 02s. So he's wrapped like 3 of those. Yeah, dog. And this is like by 2011, he wrapped like 3 of them. You know what I mean? Just like, and he grew up like jugging pills on like the east side. So.
Washington white boys are different.
They're different.
Oh, they're for sure. Yo, I grew up with, they were kidnapping each other, bro. Like 05, 06 out there. Niggas was, yo, you would pull up to house parties. Like, and first of all, like niggas, I don't know if it's this way now, but when I was a kid on the east side, we didn't go to Bellevue house parties like that. Like, we didn't go to Kirkland house parties. We didn't go to, like, we're not going to those house parties.
Yeah.
Bitches would go to the house parties. They knew dudes from those schools or whatever, and that's fine. But, like, we weren't pulling up over there because that's the enemies, basically. It was not good over there for everybody. Like, if you played a sport or you trapped, you really wasn't going.
Exactly,
You wasn't party hopping like that. You were going to the ones on the island. You found out your girlfriend was going to a Bellevue party. Oh, you was mad because you was not able to go. I mean, you could, but you gonna fight like 10 dudes.
Where you at? Issaquah.
Nigga,
Oh, it's bad.
it's all bad.
Why are you at Newcastle?
Oh, nigga, bro, niggas was in like, so this is all over like pills and weed, like drug debts also. So like, you know, you start fucking with niggas from other schools, they got custodies and like you're just trying to like trap. So there was like a couple dudes really pushing like out there like at a young age because they had access to money and they could just fund themselves or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So and then some of them actually really didn't come from a lot of shit and they just really were just with the shit.
Got it out.
But they were just kidnapping each other, doing dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Seeing a nigga at a party pulling up with a baseball bat and forcing him in the trunk of your car, driving around for a little bit, and then you like let him out. You know, like kid shit. But
Like imagine you're at like, hey, it's me and you smoking a wood. Some nigga with a baseball bat. Hey, you know what the fuck is going on?
yes.
Nigga. Hey, nigga, come on, nigga.
Not even you know what the fuck is going on. It's, hey, what's up, dude? What the fuck?
Hey, nigga, don't call me dude if you're about to
Hey,
put
what
me
the
in the
fuck,
back.
bro? You been out here smoking weed? You know you owe me $1,100, bro. Get in the fucking trunk. Just like wild white boy shit. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Nigga, take me home, nigga.
it's just so out of pocket. It's like, yeah.
Nah, that's really different. But that's like
But you also live in a beautiful place, nice people, nice
exactly.
cars.
It's you get the duality.
The duality of the shit, and you know, like that's what I see a lot of the time, especially like just being here,
Yeah,
and being black. Like you see a lot of, you know,
you see a lot of both. You're allowed in the room, but you may not participate. But you may see some shit being allowed in the room.
Oh yeah, you definitely see some shit. I saw some shit. Yeah.
I have two more things I really wanted to just pick your brain about. The graffiti culture here and just growing up, just seeing such like, for me, it was like being born in New York and coming to Washington. I think it's one of my favorite cities as far as like graffiti. Like I feel like the way Washington does graffiti is like old New York, and like the pieces that get put up and just the true like graffiti culture that's really here. What was it like growing up watching it and just like having homies around it and just being able to just like see the shit firsthand? Because I know a lot of it for me, it was like I was a terrible graffiti artist, but I loved it. It was like I walked into high school to the homie Quinn, because Quinn was writing at the time, and I just saw him and I was just like, bro, I'll pay you to teach me. I literally I was so obsessed with graffiti. I was like, I don't know shit. I'll pay you to teach me. And like a cool homie, he was like, nah, like I don't want your money. Just like, I'll teach you. But like, he was like, don't ever, and he's like, also don't tell another nigga this, because they'll take your money.
They will
to
take
teach
your money
you
and
shit.
teach you nothing. Teach you absolutely nothing.
He's like, I got you, bro. Like I'll help you. But like, for what was like your experience, and like how did you learn to love it?
So I used to go to Inner Space a lot and sea skate 3 sea skates ago, when it was like what would be across the street from the Mopop. Yeah, Mopop Museum. Yeah, so when I was a kid, going there, just watching people catch tags, just driving around the city, seeing graffiti, and we do take after New York a lot. Also Oakland. We us in Oakland have like a very similar kind of feel to our, like how we just write in letters and, you know, kind of the words that we pick, or at least I like to think that we're a lot like Oakland, because I like Oakland. But you know, as a kid, it was a lot more interesting because there were a lot more free walls. So, you know, once I figured out what those were, and, you know, if I could finagle some time to go see one, I would always go see one. And, like, that definitely helped, like, bring the culture from other cities here, because graffiti is, you know, it's one of the 5 pillars of hip-hop, right? And, like, the only way that it gets disseminated is by when dudes travel.
Yeah.
And, like, you have to go to New York as a graffiti writer in order to understand New York. You have to go to LA to understand LA. You have to go to SF, Oakland, you know what I'm saying, wherever else to understand those cities. And you also have to come here to show other graffiti writers that. So it was cool to, like, watch and see how stylistically early there was a lot more pieces, you know, just because there were free walls. There was always people doing, like, rap letters and shit like that, and, like, you know, bubbles and, you know, different styles. But, like, it was interesting to see, like, how now it's kind of, like, turned a lot more towards the accessibility of it. Yeah. You know, I'm not a piece dude. And, like, it's funny that you say that you're bad at graffiti. We're all bad at graffiti. There's nobody, there might be, like, a few people that were good at it when they first started, but, like, I don't know them niggas, and we're all sucked at it. Like, I suck. I still suck. Yeah. I'm not good at it. Like, I'm not the best painter in my crew. I'm not even close. Yeah. I can, and I will, but, like, I'm not that guy. Yeah. You know, I just see I got friends who are so much better than me. Like, the homie Fonzie is insane. Yeah. He's also left-handed, so he paints backwards.
Oh, that's weird as shit.
Yeah. It's funny to see. Yeah, he can write his word backwards.
Yeah, that's weird. That's fire, but that's weird as shit.
Yeah, no, it's hella funny. But it's been really interesting, and, like, being a kid, not being in it, seeing the crew that I am in now, the crews I'm in now, and, like, how they progress. And, like, now, you know, those are, like, family members to me. So, like, it's cool to have, you know, have it come full circle. Like, watch something that, you know, from the outside in, and then, you know,
get to join the club.
You know, yeah. And, you know, there are people from the mob at my wedding. Like, it'll be, like, people probably there when I have a kid, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, I'll do anything for those guys, but at the same time, like, learning art from them is another aspect of it that's been really cool, because like, a lot of my big homies in that have taught me a lot about art, like, artists specifically, like, and Seattle art, like, in specifics, because they're from Seattle. Yeah, and, like, a lot of them, a couple of them, like, moved to New York, a couple of them moved to SF, and, like, they've always been traveling around. You just have, like, a little, like, couple 3 months vacation and just move around. Yeah, and, like, that's, like, how styles get incorporated. And, like, you know, I'll do something and, like, somebody will see it on, like, somebody else's page or whatever. They'll take a screenshot and send it to me, and they'll be like, yeah, do your letters different or whatever, or just do it like this, X, Y, Z. And, like, you know, I feel like a big part of graffiti is, like, someone giving you a throw up of your word. You know what I mean? Someone that you respect, right? Yeah. Doing your word the way that they would do it, and then giving you that drawing. Like, the throw up that I was given. Yeah. Like, I didn't come up with it. I've tweaked it and done some things differently, but, like the overall structure of it, I was given to me by somebody else that, like, I respect. So, and the word that I write. So
it's kind of like that rite of passage. It's I love I love it. Like, graffiti and skateboarding are probably my two things I'm god awful at, but, like,
have I suck at skating too, so don't feel bad.
But bring me such ethos of, like, what the fuck is going on, just because it's two forms that, like, no matter how big they get or how formal they can be, there will always be, like, the better people will always be the ones who, like, are outside. Yep. And that's an art form that you really can't, like, take away from. Like, you'll always see a kid that's amazing at skating before he's sponsored, because he spent every fucking day just doing the same shit. And you'll see that kid dirty, fucked up, you know, like,
Yeah.
but like getting through that. And I feel like the same thing with graffiti. You'll just see this kid just like not knowing shit,
It's
just
look
ragged.
like a fucking madman.
Exactly.
At all times with a giant backpack covered in fucking stains.
Exactly.
Nah, but if you're going all city and you're doing it like that, like, nah, your whole life is dedicated to that on a certain level. Like, I always painted out of convenience.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I was going out and I didn't have like a job like I got now, I could afford to be out all hours of the night, you know, just incorporating in my daily lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, now it's a little different, but, you know, if you're going for it, like, that's all you do.
Yeah.
And I respect people when I'm riding through the city and, like, I see your word a lot, you know, even if, like, you're in a different crew and I don't like your crew or whatever, there's still, like, that, you know, what is it? Not mutual respect, but like kind of like sportsman like conduct. You know what I'm trying to say?
Like I see what you're doing over there.
Like exactly. It's like I might not like you, but like all right. Like,
yeah, you got game. You got game.
Yeah, like
that's cool.
You know, like I might hit your guts or like your crew's fucking whack or whatever. But like yeah, like I see you.
I see you. Yeah.
Yeah, it just means more things to hack, but like it's cool.
Yeah.
Like I see you, but like that's the other part about it that you know, growing up, I remember seeing niggas dissing each other. Like beef, shit like that. And like, I've always been competitive. Yeah. So, you know, like competitive art shit is just something that like immediately was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it feels
I can do
both passions.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I can do my letters better than you or whatever. Even though I know that like now I have a lot.
There's so much more shit going on where it's just like,
exactly.
I ain't got time to like, I know your ass, but I ain't got the time to like let you know I know your ass.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not even gonna, and like, you know, if you start beef with somebody, if you really start some shit like that, you gotta like see it all the way out.
Yeah.
Which means like you might have to fight that person, or you know, it might be a problem for a while or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta like handle it. So like, you know, I've had like a couple instances, but they've been kind of like cold. But like, if you diss somebody, you diss the wrong person, you better be ready for everything that comes with that. Yeah, like I've definitely seen it. You know, thought you were just gonna go over somebody at a spot. Like, nah, you got a real problem on your hands. This guy's looking for you.
Exactly. And then I feel like I wanted to lead that into like your own personal brand, Fester. I know we touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but like, how did why don't you drop more? That's my first like beef, because like I'm genuinely a fan.
Right.
So I want more shit to buy and give you more of my money.
Okay.
So drop more shit.
Okay.
And you are like hella creative. So I know like we're like, even what we talked about months ago, like that's fire whenever that is public, that vault, whenever that vault opens, if it opens. I
talk to you about that because we're shooting on the 21st. So. Okay. Come on. I got a whole treatment to send you, a whole bunch of other shit. But we can talk about that off camera.
Absolutely. But like things of that nature, like what's up with it? Like why
why don't you do your job?
Yeah, like why don't you drop more shit?
Why are you lacking? So I work a corporate job. 9 to 5. And I've started that since like October.
Okay.
And like that's mainly why I haven't been able to kind of like keep up the consistency and like do all that shit, because like I just really haven't had time. I've done some like really cool shit for them.
Yeah.
Like I booked Maxo Cream, Mona Leo, and Ludacris for like a show, and like 2 pop punk bands that I'm sure your listeners won't know, but they're story so far in Mom Jeans.
Oh, fire.
Oh, you know them?
Nope.
Okay.
Still fire.
I was like, oh, you know them? Sick.
I always like, if a band has a cool name, I'm like, I'm co-signing. Whether I know or not, I'm just like, yeah, your name stands out to me. You must be doing some fire shit.
They were good. They were really good live. But like I've just been super busy with that, and that's why I haven't been dropping as much. I have something working with Umi's Corner. I have something working with Paradise, and I got something I'm trying to do for like holiday. So I have to like space out drops more just because I can't have niggas get sick of it. And I'm playing the long game, right? Yeah. So like, you know, like all the shit, like this fucking hoodie is coming out. These hats are coming out. But like I've already started thinking about like what I'm gonna do for like the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And you know, running a brand is cool, but no, you know, me personally, it's like how many hoodies are you gonna buy? How many fucking and like all my shit's gonna be black.
Yeah.
I might start switching up colors just cause niggas buy colors.
Yeah.
But you know, how many designs can I do? You know, I'm just gonna try and like take it kind of slow.
Yeah.
And be able to do shit that I really like and like it's good quality. And like that's another big thing of like for me, especially like going back to like fashion, like as a kid, I hated cheap shit.
Yeah.
Like I never liked it. I always tear through it. You know, seeing like my little homies with like fucking like my white friends with the North Face fleeces. Yeah. Because that was like the fucking uniform back in the day. Like their shit would always last for years.
Yeah.
You know? And like my mom would buy me shit from Marshalls. I'd have it for like 2 years. Yeah. And it'd be cool. But, you know, I want my shit to be able, if you take care of it, it can last you a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and sourcing shit, getting shit made, it just all takes a minute. And I'm just one dude because I'm super paranoid and I don't want anybody else running my shit.
Yep.
It just takes forever. And like, I have to decide on designs. I'm never going to ask Instagram. What do you guys want? Like, nah, fuck that.
The blue or the pink?
No, it's not happening. So I'm just super meticulous with like what I do and what I do next and like how I want it to look and like how I want to roll it out.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, shit's expensive.
Nah, facts.
So I also know that like me doing it all at once or like trying to drop like hella quickly was just like it's not conducive to like running that business.
Yeah.
Because basically like running a clothing brand is like hella money out and it should be hella money back in.
Exactly.
But out of that hella money back in until you're doing numbers, you know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta put it all back.
Yeah.
So like I've just been recycling the same money for like 2 or 3 years. And like it's cool, it's built up, but it's just kind of like, all right, sick. You know, I gotta at a certain point, like I have to be able to figure out how to like spin it into like profitability.
Yeah.
And like I figured out kind of a plan to do that through COVID. So, because obviously like it's not gonna happen during COVID.
Yeah.
But you know, that shit at this point is more of like a passion project. And like that's how I want to keep it. Like I can afford to keep running it. You know, it doesn't like take away from anything that I do in my life.
Yeah.
But you know, I want it to be more like a fashion house in the long run. Yeah. Like it's a brand, cool, great, love it. But like I'm trying to have Fester be here for like a really long time.
Yeah.
And just figuring out like what that even means and like how to like keep it going and like get the momentum behind it. You know, like I'm cool with it seemingly be dormant.
Yeah.
You know, on and off. But like as long as I always do something like every quarter.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a good strategy for me at this point. You know, I have another thing that's gonna probably happen in June. I think I'm gonna start throwing parties, but we'll see if that actually comes to fruition.
Yeah.
But you know, just
doing more branding things.
Just exactly like I was talking about earlier, not to just like have a brand and be like, oh, these niggas don't do this. Don't do this. But like, that's how I want to use my brand because that's how I've seen my big homies use their brands. Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. Like have like some sort of outreach into the community, even if that is throwing a fucking party.
Facts.
It doesn't like a fucking party. You know what I mean? Have a nice party. You come, see some ladies, get some buns. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Have some drinks, maybe get some food.
150% correct.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and not even in like no weird salacious way of like, treating women like that. It's just like, no, have a good time.
Yeah.
And just like being able to provide like a safe space to do that. Like, it's what I've seen other people do, and I've seen how they get people to buy their shit is by interacting with them in this way.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not no super social justice warrior nigga. Like, I feel weird like leading a rally or a march or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I do have like, you see it through the brand, I have like very hardline stances on political shit, but like, exactly how I know how to interact with people and through the community is by like having fun, joking. Like, I would love to do a 3-on-3 basketball tournament or do some wild shit like that. You know what I mean? Sponsor like Jamal Crawford's league or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Base Kid said this, but there needs to be like a creative version of that, or like if they could just do hella hoop people and just have a creative league where like the brands like build their own 3-on-3 and niggas just show up in their own gear.
I would love to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. I'm gonna bring some hitters too.
Jamal, if you're watching the pod, because we know you are, let's let the creatives in.
Whatever, like Base Kids, everybody, out for niggas, like we can all pull up. I'm more than down to do some shit like that. And honestly, it kind of needs to happen. Like, me and Malcolm were kind of talking about it the other day, in a kind of a different subject. It was more about how there's a disconnect between artists and DJs here. Yeah. Because, growing up on the Hill, I know a lot of DJs. Yeah. And there is a disconnect between like them and some of the artists that are out here. Not saying like Bass Kids is tapped in because he's like them niggas age. So he knows them. But like some of my older niggas who are like late 30s, 40s, who are still DJs and good DJs. Yeah. But like, I can't say whether or not they have heard certain songs. Yeah. But once again, like it might go back to the programming of the spot that they're at. They don't want to hear like a TBG song. They want to hear like fucking Jack Harlow or some shit. Yeah. Which is probably the same BPM and talking about the same shit. But it
was like people are from here. Scary, exactly. So.
Yeah. And motherfuckers be on him just because he be out here, but it's good.
Yeah, it's good. That's what I'm saying. So, we were talking about that, but like all the creatives and shit like that, I don't know if there needs to be like a committee sit down. Like I don't know how that works.
I think there should be
let us through the door.
Yeah, a city council meeting or some shit.
Somewhere we could like pull like because it's not like. I always think about it like those same people have like we have the resources as far as like know how to get a bunch of us outside for something fun, even if it's for an hour, even if it's for hey, what's good? The homies are in there. I'm gonna stop by, have a drink or eat some food, have some tacos, and then I'm out to do whatever the else. Yeah. Maybe go back to the crib, but like I feel like the ecosystem of creative community, we need some sort of like. Hey, let's just let us take like you're doing that cool event every year. Like I would even take like the block party. The block party should have some sort of like every vendor in there should be a nigga with a brand here because there's so many niggas with brands here.
That's a good point.
So just like even things like that, even if you're not booking the artist from here, like there should be some sort of involvement of like, all right, there's like 15 brands that you could just like, all right, we're gonna bring all these people on the Hill. Let's do all this local shit as well to go along with a bunch of niggas that aren't from here taking the stage. Because like the music scene is very tough to like ask for on that such a stage because they just like, oh, fuck you niggas. Like we booked Dua Lipa. Like get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
But like I feel like at least letting the brands do that, and then you could have whatever your rapper homie or whatever that have either. Model it or just have them sit at the booth or those brand interactions where you just create your own moment around what the fuck is going on. Yeah. I feel like it's necessary, but like it's still a tough sell for, Washington though.
Yeah, niggas don't like meeting up in those situations. What we really need is just like a barbecue. Like just like a really low stakes, like just show up, eat some ribs, say hello to who you want to say hello to, and then you can go home. Smoke some weed, have a drink, whatever. But like honestly, that's just kind of something that like I think should probably happen sooner than later, because I feel like the fastest way you build animosity is just like not understanding somebody.
First.
And just like hearing something out of context, or just like not really in, you know, the proper channels. You know what I'm saying? Like I've definitely seen it happen in graffiti where like you don't know this dude and like he might have left a comment on your Instagram or some shit and like he was joking, but niggas taking it serious.
Like, you don't know him.
now it's an issue.
Exactly.
So, you know, and just like speaking of what you were saying before, it helps build community. And like that's something like somebody might know a venue owner, you know, or have a play, and like they don't know how to make the play work because they haven't met that person yet.
Exactly.
And they didn't know this nigga was right around the corner. So, you know, and I'm not saying everybody has to work with everybody, but it's cool to like just be tapped in and know what people are doing and like not make it weird. Go support, you know, show up in niggas art shows. Like I went to Art Walk on Thursday in Pioneer Square. The homie was having a show and it was cool to just go out and support. Like I'm not even tripping about like buying a piece or like whatever, but like just showing up and like getting your face out there. And I think that's just something that like definitely needs to happen. And honestly, that's why I like going to aisle 4. Because it gives me that feel of Alive and Well and Can't Blame the Youth. Because that's like people would just hang out there, and then you meet other people.
Exactly, you just have this hub of like, oh, nigga, you got a brand, I got a brand. Like we ain't gotta work together, but when I do a pop up, I'm gonna send niggas there, and when you do one, send niggas my way.
Right.
So like, that is one of the special things about the shop of just like, I would say it's like I can pitch whatever I want to a group of niggas that understand. And that'll either tell me that idea is amazing or it's ass. And like you could get instant but like from people who genuinely like understand shit.
Where
so,
you're coming from too. Like you get a real perspective. It's not just like pitching it to like somebody who doesn't get the demographics you're going for.
So it's like it's one of those like I always like it's like the best college you can get, because it's just like everyone's gonna be honest with you. And no one cares whether you like are okay with the honesty or not. You're gonna get it because it's which is like a beautiful, as a creative, that's a beautiful spot to be, because you're like, you'll either get dope shit or you'll crumble, and either way, it's good for you.
Yeah, no. I did a collab with Alive and Well. I was fortunate enough to do that, but working with Zach was the first time I ever worked with like a real designer.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that I'd worked with other real designers, but like Zach, 4Color Zach, before he won the Red Bull Championship, he worked at Wexley School for Girls, which is a crazy ad agency here. Like super filthy. Like
fire.
Yeah. Like he is a really talented designer.
Yeah.
And he just happened to win the World Championships as a DJ, and he's just been a DJ ever since.
Yeah.
But he still designs, you know, when he has time to, because nigga's super busy, and you can see it in his Twitch streams, and that's why I'm kind of happy that he does Twitch. Yeah, because like he gets a chance to like design and do all that other shit still. Fuck, what was I gonna say? But yeah, that shit was different. Designing like a hoodie with him and like other shit and like his critiques, like it's definitely a really good growing experience. Because like if I never had that, I wouldn't have, you know, known.
But able to grow. Yeah, that's one of those things where I love, like I just, for me it's just like I want more of the big homies critiques, because I feel like a lot of them are like, if they're watching, they're very to like, I'm gonna keep that shit to myself because it might sound like some hater shit. But also like, a lot of you niggas walked through fire, and when it was a lot harder to like get your brand off the ground and like create a movement. So like you critiquing something or just saying like that one's ass, this one may be fire, is I feel like a valid point, just because like you had to push your shit when niggas was actually outside, and you had to like compete in the era. Like I feel like if you competed in the era of like streetwear before it exploded, you can tell a nigga like, oh, your brand's kind of weak. Like that's just or like if you just were around then, you could be like, I seen 50 of these before. Like,
okay, that's fair.
You know, like you could go, fair. Like it's such a full circle where I feel like the the higher hand can just be like, and not in a way where it's like, don't stop doing it. It's just like refine it, like get more into that consumption span. So I definitely feel like that is definitely a great part of aisle 4, to be able to like pitch shit to Tobe, who's been outside for forever, pitch shit to Flock, who's been outside for forever, and them just be like, I don't get it, it might be ass, or just like, oh, change this, change that, or do it in this way, where it's just like, it'll only help me grow because they've seen everything under the sun, and like, and those two specifically in two different capacities, so they can be like, I get it, it's fire, or one would be like, I don't get it, it's kind of trash. And I have that, like, those two basically, like, to constantly, like, feed off of and just, like, propel the shit that we do. So I always think, like, having that sort of battle in a space is, like, amazing.
No, for sure. Like, I bounced a bunch of ideas off of George and Marcus and Zach and a bunch of other fools. Told them I'm going to do this with my brand or whatever, and it never winds up happening. But, like, getting their advice and then also watching what they do with their shit is definitely really invaluable. Because, like, watching them run Alive and Well, seeing how they did it, seeing how other brands do it, you know what I mean, in that space, like, seeing who you want to be like and model your brand after and your business after, you know, is super important. And listening to them about who they like and who they want to model their business and brand after, because, like, that's something that, like, go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like, drop dates, what you drop, how you drop it, all that stuff. Like, I love Brain Dead, Pleasures, you know what I mean? Like, Palace is definitely one of my favorites. Fucked is coming back. They're coming back super hard. I like how Fuck's doing their drops. Like, they're doing, like, really small capsules. It's not crazy big shit like they did. Like, I used to work at Inner City Empire, and we printed Fucked out of Seattle. And the drops were huge, which is great. I loved it at the time. 1 million t-shirts. Give me all the Fucked t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? Fucking 1 million Fucked hoodies. But, like, that's not always sustainable. Unless you have, like, the Palace Supreme, in, like, that kind of model. Bodega, I feel like, is another one that could do crazy volume like that. But Union, but at the same time, like, why? Like, you're just exhausting a conversation that has to go on a lot longer. That's why I really like Born and Raised, because, like, they figured out how to, like, have this consistent conversation as a brand
and do it very minute and, like, very like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna touch on a native concept, but we're also gonna talk about different heritage and really, like, a bunch of LA shit, and it's not gonna we're not gonna pollute it. And I do love the way he does that. It's just like, no, we're gonna give you this conversation, and then we're also, like, having this one over here, and then the Dodgers might win, so, like, you gonna get that one too. So I love that form of just, like, giving people those bite-sized pieces of your ideology and just keeping it like, rinse and repeat, because you're gonna have a new thought. You're always gonna have, like, a new feeling, and you don't want it to, like, as you say, you don't want to do 1 million of that conversation.
Nah, and, like, you know, every drop is a different iteration of that or what you're trying to say, right? So it's cool to have your thing be so tied to a place, because it helps. You know what I mean? Like, it helps you always have something new and different to talk about. But you don't always have to, like, not to say pigeonhole yourself in a location, but, you know, I feel like brands like Fucked and Born and Raised and, like, brands like that have kind of transcended a location specifically. And they're both from LA.
Exactly.
But they've figured out how to just be in that kind of, like, ether around what that already feels like. And that's, you know, on the designers, they've done a really good job at, like, visually describing what that feels like, right? So you kind of understand it whether or not you live there. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things about Born and Raised that feel applicable up here.
Facts.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of things about Fucked that feel applicable up here, even before it was being run up here. You know? A lot of New York brands feel
Here.
right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's not by accident, because like when you go out there, like every time I meet one of the homies, like of course they're a graffiti kid from New York, you know, we're always fast friends because like there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
You know, like how we talk, not necessarily the slang that we use, but just like
how we speak in our mannerisms.
Yeah, vernacular, and like, you know, we got like coat culture. We both have a large racking culture. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that are similar. Hoop, you know.
Great hoop cities.
Both great hoop cities.
Neither of our professional teams do well.
We don't even fucking have one.
I know, but I like to say that they're same. Like, we don't have one and theirs don't do well. So
I think we got one since the Knicks one. I think we have one. I think 1979, right? That was the last time we went, and we've been to the fucking NBA Finals
more times. Than they
in the last like 30 years.
Exactly, and haven't had a team for the last 10. Mm-hmm. You can take us out, brother.
All right, now, man, you probably been wondering, hey, what's up with Tavares over there? But we've been having a beautiful conversation, and I love it. It's been nothing but isms this past episode. So you know what we're doing, man. KWJT, we got Cisko, Corey, and Tavares.